Hello, and welcome to Exposed Urban TV. I'm Corey Jackson, and I'm here with Lowell Gray from ShoreNet, which is now Exposed Urban's headquarters. And we're going to talk a little bit about the incubator space downstairs a little bit later in the episode. First, I wanted Lowell to sort of go into ShoreNet in general, and I was a huge fan of ShoreNet back in the day, in the 90s. It was my first email account. I think I told you on Facebook I was playing Mushes and Muds, those stupid text-based reality, like alternate reality games or whatever you called them. So yeah, so I go back a long way with you. You don't even know it, but
That's very cool.
It's awesome. And you talk to a lot of people about ShoreNet and across the North Shore, and they remember that as sort of their first internet experience. So I think that's really cool. And so why don't you talk about when you first started and why you came to Lynn, this kind of urban environment?
Yeah. Well, ShoreNet actually, I don't know if you remember, it was originally called North Shore Access.
Oh wow, maybe I didn't know it then.
So ShoreNet back in the day, you know, when we started out, we were doing internet access.
Okay.
And no one even had domain names.
Right.
I mean, they existed, but then I went out and decided that our name northshore.ecosoft.com was too long, and I registered the domain name ShoreNet.
Nice.
And that's stuck.
You were
with
ahead
us.
of your time.
So the ShoreNet brand has definitely been around a while. It's got great associations with it. I left the company. You know, I sold the company back in 2000.
When was that? 2000.
Back in 2000. So now here it is, 11 years later. I bought the company back in 2009. So it was really out of the business for like a long time. And what I bought back was really the hosting side of the business.
Okay.
Co-location, you know, the data center.
Yeah.
So back, you know, when you were a customer,
right.
We were mostly internet access.
Yeah.
And
getting online, having an email address, an email account,
yeah,
Pine.
Dial up.
That's how I check my mail.
Yeah, dial up.
They have no idea what we're talking about, by the way. I don't mean you two. I mean everybody on this video camera. But that's okay. We'll get some nerds involved in this episode. You know.
Yeah. So remember back in the day, before you had cable and Verizon, it was all dial-up modems, copper.
Right.
Copper. And that's how we got here, actually. This building, the ShoreNet building, was the original New England Telephone Telegraph central office for the city of Lynn.
Oh, awesome.
And Lynn,
so it
downtown
had the
Lynn,
infrastructure
is like real serious infrastructure. That was a big asset to us early on. Was a lot of phone lines came into the building, a lot of copper. We needed to get access to our customers. Now what we have here is just a really solid bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
And very secure building, tons of power. We have a big computer operation in here now.
Yeah.
The new business is all about cloud computing.
Yeah, and your speeds out of here are insane. I mean, that's what attracted me to wanting to get some office space in here, and I think we should probably definitely go into that.
Yeah, it's a little techy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the infrastructure thing is key. I mean, Lynn is such a great, like, urban environment, and you know, there's another thing some people don't know about under the streets here, is the only transatlantic fiber optic cable in New England comes into the city of Lynn.
Oh wow!
And so that's what gives us that ultra high speed access. I have a connection right out of this building. It goes up to Canada, out the Atlantic, down to New York.
Wow!
All fiber, gigabit speeds.
That's totally amazing, and it shows. Like, our uploads for our videos now are like split seconds, you know, whereas I'm sitting at home with my horrible FiOS connection that they tell me I'm getting certain speeds, but I'm really not, and it takes forever. So it's an amazing place to be. Lynn, as it's up and coming, I think a lot of people think about, you know, existing companies sort of coming in and opening up shop or whatever, but I think a big part of the sort of renaissance of Lynn is all these entrepreneurs that are starting to do things on their own. And that's happening a lot in the world now with mobile development and all sorts of different skill sets that are out there, and people are consulting and doing their own work or trying to start their own companies, make their own apps, you know, whatever it may be. A lot of that is going on in the lofts around here, and I think driving a lot of that activity into a common space could be really powerful. So you want to talk a little bit about the incubator idea that you have going on in here?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I've always been a huge booster for the City of Lynn.
Yeah.
And back in ShoreNet version 1, we had developed a concept for the downtown we called the Lynn Cyber District, which was an earlier group of you know, internet, computer, web design entrepreneurs, mostly getting access through ShoreNet in the downtown. The proximity to our building was an asset to them. But now, in the new company, because of our cloud computing data center does not take up that much space anymore. You know, this area here where we're standing now used to be the ShoreNet NOC, the Network Operations Center. I had 50 people in here 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
As you can see now, it's completely empty space. This is fabulous space, 15-foot ceilings, skylights, big windows. This is like a perfect environment, I think, for like a creative media, digital media, startup, incubator, professional office space, gallery, studios. I would love to see this building now filled up with a community of entrepreneurial professionals, mostly digital media folks, who would like to work, you know, in close proximity with other like-minded people, create some critical mass, some cross-fertilization. Yeah. It's just a great place to share resources, share ideas.
We've seen this in some other locations, like Emily and I were over at Second Glass in Boston, and they were sharing space with, do you remember the other? There were a few other startups, and they were saying it's so great because they can bounce their ideas off this other team of, you know, people that are sort of separate from it, so like they get sort of customer feedback right away, or just other ideas from those people. So yeah, it would be amazing to kind of get that group going inside this building. There's
like just some good economics to it as well. You know, most of these kinds of startup companies, they all have the same basic needs. They want desk space, they want internet access, they need some, you know, some phone lines, fax machines, printers. See, faxes are kind of dead, but you know, printers.
Still need them every once in a while. I just used one yesterday for my real estate agent.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, I have all those services here in the building, and it's just so easy for me to say, here, provide you with some desk space. You get super high-speed internet access, which I can provide to you at less than it would cost you to get, you know, run a Comcast or Fios into your house. Right. And like you say, with your video upload speeds.
Right. Saves a lot of time. It's very efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, we have all these services, all the facilities, and it just makes sense for us to use the space for people who.
So, if people are interested, how do they let you know?
I guess the simplest way would be to just drop me an email.
Yeah.
ljg@shore.net.
Okay. We'll pop that up on the video as well.
And if you visit our website, www.shore.net, you can find out something about our internet services. There's nothing up there right now about the office space. Right. But there's also a contact form there. You can reach us easily.
Excellent. So great. So if you're interested in this sort of collaborative working environment, we know we'd love more people to be here. It would be fantastic. We'll even interview you all. So come on over to ShoreNet. Visit the website shore.net and shoot Lowell an email. He'll be happy to return that and get you in here.
Come down, give you a tour, check it out. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. All right. We'll see you next week.